Hey Team Westgate, it's Mr. Weiss. It's Thanksgiving break. I'm actually heading into the school right now. I'm planning on shooting a video today to make sure that I follow up like I promised I would when it comes to the WIG that I created to run a half marathon in less than 2 hours. Over the past few months, I've done a lot of things to help make sure that I'm ready for this half marathon. I've run, I've eaten well, I've worked really hard to make sure that I'm taking good care of myself and getting a lot of sleep. These are just some of the lead measures. I've also followed a training plan that was imperative for me to try and be able to meet this goal. I worked very hard to try and make this happen, and really, I almost did it, but as it turns out, I didn't quite. So, part of what I want to talk to you about today is that a failure? I didn't meet my goal. I ran my half marathon in 2 hours and 7 minutes. I missed it by 7 minutes. That's actually a fair amount, and it's hard to make up that amount of time, but I want to talk to you about whether or not that's a failure. We'll come back to that question in just a few minutes. First, I want to tell you a little bit about the race. This is a super exciting race. Most half marathons include a lot of people. This half marathon is one of the biggest in the country. It includes 40,000 people that are running this race. Not all of them are running a half marathon. Some of them are running a full marathon. Some are running a 10K. But 40,000 people run this race. So it was a great opportunity to have some fun while also running a race. It's in Las Vegas. They closed the main road in Las Vegas to run this race. It's at night. The lights are on. It's super fun. So here's a quick video just to show you a little bit about what that race looks like, just to give you an idea so you can understand too how much fun it was for me. So as you can see in that video, a lot of people run this race. It's quite busy. And at the beginning of the race, I took off with about 1,000 people. Here's a picture of the starting line for us. We were amongst about 1,000 people. It was really neat. But as you can imagine, as you take off for the start of this race, you're weaving in and out of people, trying to find the right path to be on so that you can make sure you're doing well. And as a reminder, to run a half marathon in under 2 hours, I have to be running it faster than 9-minute miles, which is pretty quick. And it was really clear after the first 4 miles that I was not on track to meet my goal. In fact, I was on track probably to run more like a 2 hour and 25-minute half marathon. So I knew after mile 4 that I had to make up some ground. So as the race continued on, I found some opportunities to make up ground by finding some lanes where I could speed up a little bit. And then I kind of got a second wind towards the second half of the race. And I think miles 8 through 13, I ran at about 8.5-minute miles, which are pretty fast for me. And I was proud that I was able to do that. In fact, I felt really good. In fact, I'd say I felt great about the run. So back to that question, was it a failure? I want to remind you that we talked about wildly important goals and how important it is to set lead measures, really to have a compelling scoreboard to be able to evaluate whether or not I'm actually making progress. So if you'll remember back when I talked to you when we did the fun run, I had great lead measures in place. I was evaluating how much I was running every day. I was watching on what I was eating. In the process of preparing for this race, I lost 8 pounds. I feel physically stronger. I feel like I've made great improvement in who I am as a person. So when I think about what it means to set a wildly important goal, and also what does it mean to not meet that wildly important goal, I want to know, is it a failure? Hopefully your answer is the same as mine. No, it is not a failure. If anything, it's a great success. Now, I sure would like to run a half marathon in less than 2 hours. I would feel even more successful if I was able to do that. But the fact that I didn't do it doesn't mean that I failed. It means that I grew, that I improved who I am, I improved how healthy I am, and quite frankly, the next time I go out to run, I know what my goal is. It's still to run a half marathon in less than 2 hours. So that's still a goal for me and something I need to try and meet. Because it's important to me. But with that said, I've learned a lot in this process. So as you go out and set wildly important goals this semester, we're going to start setting wildly important goals in your classroom. It's really important to work with your teacher, to work with your family, and think about what wildly important goal do you want to set for your academics. When I set my wildly important goal, my hope was to model for you what it looks like to create a wildly important goal, what it looks like to act on lead measures, to have the compelling scoreboard, to follow through with your accountability partners, and then to try and achieve it. And as you've already heard me say, I didn't achieve it. But the bottom line is, I'm a better person. I feel like the goal that I set was the right goal to set. It's still a goal for me now. I know the next time I run a half marathon, that's a goal for me. But I think my next wildly important goal is going to be to run a full marathon. And that's a big deal. That's a 26-mile race. But as you are developing these, I want you to think about my experience and how I grew and learned from it. And as you create goals, work with your teachers. Think about what are great goals that are going to help me be a better person, help me grow academically, help me become the person that I want to be. Because those long-term goals are great. Things like being a veterinarian or a teacher or down the road, an astrophysicist or whatever it is that you want to do. Those are great goals, and I want you to have those goals. But in order to get to those goals, you're going to have to make those wildly important goals in the interim, and you're going to have to really try to figure out how you're going to push yourself to achieve those things, because you can. I know you can. I believe in you. I've seen you do great things in this building, and I cannot wait to see what your wildly important goals are. I can't wait to see the leadership notebooks. I cannot wait to be in your classrooms and share in the celebrations with you, but I really am looking forward to all of those things I just outlined, and have a great beginning back to our school. Have a great second semester. I look forward to seeing you all in the hallways. Lead, love, and learn, run runners. I'll see you around the building.